I know somebody out there has to know. Yes, no?
The first convert.
The first convert. Oh, who is that? Who's Liz Berkey, she, her? That's another one of me. So Ruth is often thought of as the first person to take on Judaism consciously. Naomi, oh, it's my husband. There we go. That's so fun. He's in the other room.
He's a plant. It's a plant.
I didn't even know. But Ruth, the story is that Ruth is married to one of Naomi's sons, and she and the other daughter-in-law, the sons both pass away, and Naomi says to her two daughters-in-law, you should leave. It's not like I can have more sons for you right now. And the other daughter, Orpah, leaves, but Ruth stays with her and says, wherever you go, I will go. Your people are my people. Your God is my God. So those are just very poetic words that have inspired many composers over time. Ruth itself has a beautiful trope system, and I want to introduce Daniel Goldin, who is a congregant of ours. He is principal violist of the Lake Forest Symphony and a member of the Chicago Philharmonic. He performs regularly with the Joffrey Ballet Orchestra, Ars Viva Symphony, and numerous other professional ensembles. For 25 years, he was principal violist of Orchestra London, Canada, and he was founding member of the Rossini Quintet and founded and led the Hot Latkes Klezmer Band. Daniel teaches violin and viola for the Music Institute of Chicago and other institutions. He's active as a composer, and he has written and arranged music for symphony, orchestra, string ensembles, as well as ethnic and jazz ensembles, and we're so fortunate to have him. This is sort of way below his complicated level, but but he brings a musicality to his playing that is just beautiful. So Daniel, if you wouldn't mind playing for us the sound of the trope of Ruth.
Sure. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Little sample. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. It's a beautiful trope, and you made it even more beautiful with your playing. Thank you. And now Naomi will teach us a little bit more about Ruth and share some settings that she found and enlighten us.
I wasn't really going to teach much about Ruth herself or the book, but
Well, I mean, like the trope and all that.
But yes, so I have a little hobby. I like to take texts from Tanakh that are written in trope and find translations of them and then apply the tropes that are actually in the text to the English. And many, many years ago, this is probably over 10 years ago at Anshe Emet on Shavuot, I chanted a chapter of Ruth, and it had the famous where you go, I will go lines. And so I translated that part into English and applied trope to it. So this is how that went. Their voices broke into weeping again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law farewell, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, see, your sister-in-law has returned to her people and her gods. Go follow your sister-in-law. But Ruth replied, do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus and more may the Lord do to me, if anything but death parts me from you.
It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now, when we were preparing this, Liz had pointed to a few pieces that had been composed, and I reached out to, in one case, the composer. Should we start with the cantata?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I reached out to the music director of Valley Beth Shalom in Los Angeles, where Ami Aloni had been the music director for tens of years. I don't really know the history, and he composed a lot of music. I sang with their choir for a couple of years in Los Angeles. So I reached out to the current music director, and she had a recording, and I think she tells a little history of how he wrote it, like why he wrote it. I mean, it was actually commissioned, and sort of a little peek into his brain, and I want to play that for you. It's a couple minutes. And then there's a famous aria, Do Not Ask Me to Leave You, which it's actually used in weddings. So I'm going to play, Noreen Green is doing the introduction, and hopefully you'll be able to understand it. I guess I have to share my screen, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget to share computer sound.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
So it's up at the top
Yeah.
and the ... on the right.
Yes.
And if you click on that and you see share computer sound, and just click on.
Oh, yes. Did not know. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think this is...
Shabbat Shalom. So people always ask, what is the inspiration to compose a piece of music? We all know Ami Aloni was here for 30 plus years as music director and composer in residence. And where did he get the inspiration for all of his works of art? So I found this on the Aloni Foundation, and I thought I'd read it to you. This is remembrances from his daughter, Dory. It was Passover dinner, probably in 1980 or 1981. My little brother Danny was 17, both of us just a tad too big to be fighting over the Afikomen. In those days, I sang in the VBS choir. As altos, we always sang the harmony line and listened to the beautiful soaring voices of the sopranos carrying the melody. Since I couldn't make my voice higher, I decided to try to bring Mohammed to the mountain. I stole the Afikomen before it was hidden, Dad giggling the whole time, and when Danny realized it was gone, he got really annoyed. He immediately started trying to coerce me into sharing my prize with him. So I told him if Dad would give me what I wanted to redeem the matzah, I'd happily share the prize with him. Dad listened to all of this bargaining very suspiciously and then asked me what I wanted. I said, in the next piece of music you write, I want the altos to sing the melody. Now, if you've ever sung in a choir, altos, right? That was quite a wish. Danny's face fell like he'd lost the lottery by one number. Dad laughed out loud and agreed, which is how it came about that Ruth has the melody line in all of the women, and the range is alto. Wouldn't you say, ladies? So, the music Ami composed to the 4 chapters of Ruth, each chapter is based on a different trope or cantillation. He selected from the Italian, Morocco, Sephardic and Ashkenazi communities. And as we change from one section to another, you'll hear the very different sounds of the trope, and that is sung by the women in Hebrew. They act as the Greek chorus. The men's chorus, over here, is in English, and they also comment on the action. The solo parts are all in English as well.
So, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to just go a little bit into it. And there's this aria, and I can't remember if it was actually very much in the trope, but let's see. If it's not, we'll back up. But this is Don't Ask Me to Leave You. Starts with a recitative about here.
For you have been kind, kind to the dead and to me. God grant you your wishes, then rest you will find, each in the home of a man.
But they want to go with you, go home to your people, they want to go with you.
Okay, let's go a little farther up. Here we go. There we go. Ah.
Don't ask me to leave you. Don't ask me to go back. I never want us to part. Don't ask me to leave you. Don't ask me to go back. I never want us to part. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people are my people. Your God is mine. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Your people are my people. Your God is mine. Don't ask me to leave you. Don't ask me to go back. I never want us to part. Don't ask me to leave. Don't ask me to go back. I never want us to part. For death alone shall part us, you and me. For death alone shall part us, you and me. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people are my people. Your God is mine. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people are my people. Your God is
So that was really lovely aria, and that's oratorio. Liz, you want to comment?
No, it's just, I mean, it's amazing. There's like, I put out, we have a cantorial discussion group called Chazanet, and it's a little play on the word Chazanut. So I put out to my cantorial colleagues, please send me titles, about sayings of Ruth. And I mean, I probably got 25 or 30 titles from Gounod to modern cantors to what Naomi is going to maybe share a snippet of next, so all different interpretations of this text, because it's very inspiring to people. It's been a common text to set.
Yeah, so I also reached out to, because you sent me all these things. So Jeff Klepper, who was really kind of the unsung Debbie Friedman. I mean, a lot of people, everybody's heard of Debbie Friedman, but a lot of people haven't heard of Jeff Klepper, and he really was as instrumental in Jewish music as Debbie was with her. They were kind of partners in crime in a lot of ways in the Reform movement and the camping movement. And in the 70s, he was writing a lot of stuff. So he and his partner, Dan Freelander, wrote a song on Naomi and Ruth. He was a little like, oh, this is not my best work, because he's written some really great songs. And it's lovely, and you'll see it's very 70s. And it's just like the story of Naomi and Ruth. So I'll just play a couple of minutes from that as well. I guess I should share my screen.
It has a fun folk rock feel to it.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different treatment.
Totally different. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
Do I need to share? Okay, share computer sound. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh no, something went wrong. No.
No.
What? It was just playing a minute ago. I tested this. Hang on.
There it is.
Downloading. Downloading. Flashing. All right. Please play. Huh. Anytime. Here.
This is the story of Ruth and Naomi, uprooted, abandoned, alone. Though the famine was over, their hope and their loved ones were gone. Ruth and Naomi were saying goodbye, embracing each other, they cried. Naomi said, Ruth, now go back to your home. But Ruth shook her head and replied, do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not follow you. For wherever you go, that's where I will go, and wherever you are, that's where I will be. Your people shall be my people, and your God shall be my God. Your people shall be my people, and your God shall be my God.
Anyway, you get the picture. I've heard it like twice and I'm already singing along with it. So that was Jeff Klepper.
Great.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you for this. So if anybody's interested in more samples, I can send you a whole list of settings that you can find on YouTube and everything, but there really is, as I said, it's been inspiration to many composers. But I really was picturing sunshine and bell bottoms, and that was just a wonderful, wonderful place to go with that.
So 70s. And by the way, I just want to do a plug because this year I was teaching adult trope, like different tropes that we don't usually teach. And I had a Megillat Root trope class that was just concluding for Shavuot. So my students are going to be reading chapter 3 at the Rose Crown Minyan reading right before Erev Shavuot. So, and if you want to learn Ruth trope or any other trope, just call me. You're sitting here at home. If it's on your bucket list, we can arrange something.
Yeah, and one of those readers, Jane is one of those readers, and she's
Jane is right here, Jane Lippo.
Yeah.
So
any of your other students are here right now.
Yeah, no, I don't see any of them. So.
Wonderful. Thank you for that little peek into Ruth and the composers who were inspired by her. Okay, so another piece of text that is particular to Shavuot is called Akdamut. And our Chazan has some words to tell us about Akdamut. And while you're telling us, I'm just going to put it up on the screen so they can see the text itself. Is that okay with you?
Oh, there we go. Yes, it is. It's fine, actually.
Great.
I stole this from a lovely article I'd read about Akdamut. Whoops. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's almost easier to read than what I have here. So the words that begin it say, an introduction of words and a beginning of speech. From the first, I request authority and permission to speak and be heard. And this is the beginning of the thing. This begins this lengthy 45 couplets in 90 mono-rhymed lines. So it's 90 lined piyut being poem, of course, that are chanted today in a major scale, stylistically different between its probable origins, which we know now, the origin was Worms, Germany, to when our people escaped to Central and Eastern Europe, where things went very different musically. It's an Aramaic, probably from the time we read Torah in Hebrew, but then had to translate it into the vernacular Aramaic so people understood it. And Akdamut elaborates on God's power and majesty. On the first day of Shavuot, our holy day celebrating Hashem's giving of the Torah to the Jewish people. The author, the reason we know that it's from Worms, Germany, etc., is that the author, by means of an acrostic, which I still can't find, but they have found it, gives us his name.
I can point it out while you're talking about it.
Do it. It's got to be the first.
So it's a double alphabetical acrostic. So here you have tzadi tzadi kuf kuf resh resh shin shin taf taf.
You use 2 letters for each.
And then it gets to him incorporating his name. So it's right here.
Here it is, Meir. I see it. Mem Aleph Yud Resh. That's Meir. Ben Isaac or Yitzchak. I don't know how it's in here. Nehorai. Nehorai.
Well, it has Yitzchak, and then it says Yigdal b'Torah, Uvema'asim Tovim, etc., etc.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. But we know that he lived in 11th century Germany. And that's just the beginning of Ashkenazic tradition. It makes it that it came from medieval Ashkenaz and not from the Amoraim, which was many, many years before that. And people had thought that that's where it was from. And then they discovered they knew where he was from. It was from Worms, Germany. So that's my words right now about how we got to this. Are you going to sing a little bit of Akdamut for us, Liz?
I will. I wanted us to bring in Akdamut, one because it's particular to Shavuot, but also it ties us back to Pesach.
Oh, yeah.
Because if anybody remembers from our Passover program, the Chazan talked a little bit about the music of the Kiddush that we use for Pesach and all the festivals, and that's derived from one of the versions of how we sing Akdamut. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, this is the Ashkenazic version is Akdamut mirin v'shara yoshuta. Avla shokelna harmanu reshuta. Bevavei tereu teladeftach benikshuta. Bevare devorei vetare adele kashishuta. So it doesn't get too boring. You go to a couple of different notes, but it's really pretty much this just saying, give me permission, O Lord, to speak to you. And then it goes into a whole 90-line poem. But there is another tune that we use. Actually, if you show us how we do it in the Akdamut, I'll tell you where else it's played.
Sure.
Well, actually, wait a minute. The tune I just sang, forgive me, is used in every time we say the Kiddush for one of the 3 festivals. We're making Kiddush after Mariv and etc. This is the tune. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, borei peri agafen, agdamut malin v'shrei shuta, avla shokelna. Got it? Same tune. And we do it 3 times. And there's more, but go ahead.
Okay. So there's a Germanic version that's like a metrical tune for this. It goes like this. Akdamut milin v'shrei shuta, avla shokelna harman urshuta, v'varei tarei udladeftach enakshuta.
It's a beautiful tune. Okay, so raise your hand if you know what is the tune that we use that says in the synagogue, you're sitting, you were sleeping, you forgot why you're here. Is it Shabbos? What is it? And then you hear what? When you hear Michamocha on Pesach, what do you hear on Passover? Michamocha ba'elimash. Yeah. Adirhu. Boom. That's it's like having one of these, the king's sign. This is Pesach, and here's how you know, because we're singing Adirhu. When else would you sing it? What do you hear when we do Shavuot, Sukkot? You got it, right? You're waving the lulav, and you do Michamocha ba'elima. Where is this Michamocha? It comes right before we do the Amidah, right? The Amidah for Shacharit, for both of those. And so what's the tune for Shavuot? Exactly what you just sang. Michamocha ba'elima Adonai. So you can't get lost if you come in early enough, at least to hear the Michamocha, and then you're ready to daven the Amidah for Shacharit. Okay?
Beautiful. Thank you. And it's the interesting thing about Akdamut is it's done. The first person is called up to the Torah, and then they say the blessing, and then before the Torah reader reads, which is unusual to interrupt that, this poem is done. In the Sephardi tradition, they actually read a ketubah that is about the marriage between Israel and God, with heaven and earth as the witness at this point. So there's different traditions depending on if you're Sephardi or Ashkenazi, but it's an interesting quirk of Shavuot that we have this poem here before the Torah is read. It's all about glorifying the commandments and Torah, et cetera, and God, of course. And speaking of Torah, our next stop is at the Torah service. So the Chazan has recorded a beautiful setting, and will you tell us a little bit about it before we listen?
Yes, I just like to give a little thing. I'm not taking too much time, I don't think. I think this is interesting. So you're going to hear music that was heard at both Yamim Noraim during the high holidays and the festivals. But this all has a history. The man that we're not discussing at all tonight, but I want to mention his name because he shouldn't be forgotten, from the 1600s, was Salomone Rossi. He was the first one who arranged many Jewish liturgical pieces in the Italian late Renaissance to the early Baroque style. He lived those 2 ages. And his stuff was lost until the 19th century, and then was found again, and then there was another one found that was a better edition of his books, and the Cantor's Assembly actually published all 3 books. Salomon Rossi has some of the most beautiful choral music you've ever heard. Then there's Solomon Sulzer, early 1800s, who set traditional synagogue music, which, by the way, was losing its what is it called, the flavor overnight. It was like the chewing gum. And he made it into Solomon Sulzer was in Vienna, one of the greatest voices that ever lived in the cantorate. He was known for that. I mean, in any case, and he included both the traditional nusach of the synagogue liturgical modes, but made them into a Western classical music sound. Then finally, you had Louis Lewandowski, who in 1821 through 1894, who took the development of choral arrangements and use of very large choirs in the Alt Synagogue and in the Neue Synagogue in Berlin, and most of the other synagogues, because he became the Oberkantor of Berlin. So that was big power. You just told guys what they had to play in their synagogue. So he got famous, but he was able to spread his music that way. What we're going to listen to is the Siu Sharim, if I'm correct. Hello? Is that true?
That is correct.
Baruch
That is
Hashem.
correct.
By Samuel Nonnberg, who was like them quite a bit, these other guys that I mentioned, but he was a French Jewish chazan, cantor, and composer, 1817 till 1880. And this is sung by the Anshe Emet Festival Choir that I made a couple of recordings with them, and this is the Festival Delights.
Oh.
No? Yes?
Yep.
When did you hear this last?
My holidays. Encore.
Bravo, right? Doesn't that just get you right in the gut? It's amazing. I love that music. Oh, Alberto, we lost you.
Nah, I know. I'm back. I'm back. Where is it? Help me.
You know, while you're doing that, I'm just going to take this moment because Nonnberg is an incredible composer, I think. And he brings a different sound to Jewish music that we're not used to, like that. Like that's not something you hear every week. And I just wanted to play. Go ahead.
No. So I was going to say, when was the last time you heard that, people? Raise your hand that you know. Where? Come on. Of course you know.
City.
Shul. This is done. We do this on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur in our synagogue.
Yeah.
The only problem is we can't afford a choir like this because this was 46 singers and or 42. And I wanted to make it before I got too old. Here I am. So I could still sing it.
Alberto, you're not too shabby on your own.
No.
What are we singing next, darling?
Well, first, I just wanted to play another little snippet of Nonnberg, his Eitz Chaim, because we're stuck in a small rut of Eitz Chaims, but I just want to expose you to yet another Eitz Chaim that is by the same composer by Nonnberg, and it's very pretty. I'm not sure who the singers are on this, I admit, but
Same guys.
no. This is not your recording.
Oh, go.
I don't know if you recorded this or not.
Probably.
If you did, you haven't sent it to me, but this is on a website somewhere.
I have it right here. It's in this. It's in this.
Well, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe this is you. Frustrated to stop right there, but I just want to give you another taste of it, another sample of Nonnberg.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm glad you played that instead of the other one because mine is also very well known. So this is beautiful. It's very beautiful.
It's Nonnberg's Eitz Chaim is one of my favorites.
Look, there's another Nonnberg Eitz Chaim you don't know about.
I don't know about it, so I look forward to hearing it. Okay, moving on. So we have more music that is more festival, not so much Torah-centric, but festival-centric. That the Chazan will talk about now, that is from more of his recordings, and it's based in Hallel, which we say on all of the festivals.
Yes. Yes. So this is Birkat Hallel. The reason I actually do this in shul more than I don't do it, it's by Israel Alter. He was Olav Shalom, a very, very, very famous cantor. He was a bass baritone, but with a voice just knock you over. It was magnificent. He taught at the Hebrew Union College toward the end of his life. And in fact, he's the uncle of
Benny Meissner.
Benny Meissner, Cantor Meissner in Toronto, who is also a fabulous chazan. So I love this. This Birkat Hallel puts me in a kind of a trance to do the rest of Hallel. It's that kind of a piece. And I appreciate it if you'd listen. Thank you. Mm-hmm. This is the bracha.
Just give me a moment here.
I'll give you 2 moments. What do I care?
Sorry, I just gotta pull it up.
That's very nice. You did that already.
No, I'm opening the Hallel, the blessing for Hallel.
Baruch atah
Wait.
Of all the music that I've sung, I don't know why, but this one touches me a lot. It just says the bracha for Hallel, because Hallel is let's say great things about God. You know, that's what it is. And in that one little bracha, I think it says the whole Hallel in its own way. It makes me feel something. Mayesh.
Malach HaYam.
Why not? Everybody knows this. I think what you ought to do is mute yourselves and sing along. I love this piece. Malach HaYam. I don't remember ever asking.
Malach
A surprise little ending. I didn't know I had that note in me. But you're in a studio, go try. That's good. Now, the next piece is by Shalom Secunda. Anybody who knows about him, raise your hands. Shalom Secunda, very, very famous composer of Yiddish theater, but mostly for Chazanim. He wrote magnificent songs, and his biggest, the guy that paid him the most, was Richard Tucker, Olav Shalom, the great, great tenor, but also a fabulous chazan. Tucker was not like a mediocre chazan. This guy was at the top of the world, and then he had to leave to go to the Metropolitan Opera. What are you going to do? All right. Got paid a lot more at the Met. Anyway, so this piece is Ana Hashem Hoshiana. Save us, O Lord, please save us. And we say this every Hallel, and I don't think you can possibly say it better than this music does. Let's play it. Ana Adonai
Hoshia.
Yeah, that tears at my heart. It just does. I cried listening to it. If it was Richard Tucker, I'd cry more because he was so great. But yeah. So these things are all we're going to hear this Shavuot in synagogue. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, folks. Boy, I wish we could all be there together. And I wish I could have my choir back. But nicht gefällig. It's Hashem. One of these days. Somewhere. Finally. Oh, this is a little bit long. Are we going to play it anyway? I'm having a good
Let's play some of it, and you can tell me when you want it to stop.
You guys, anybody getting bored from listening to this?
We're bored listening to you.
You are, please hang up. This is a piece by another very famous guy. His name was Betzalel Brum, a very, very well-known chazan. And this, he was also known as Nissim Belzer when he came from Europe. You know, he was the Belzer from Belz, and he was known as Nissim, which was probably his nickname. This is the Umipnei Chataenu, because of our sins, Golinu me'artzenu. We were sent out of our land. And it keeps going. We confess to God, and we know why we're in trouble, and we're out of Israel, and we're in all these countries that hate us and all that. This was written quite a while ago. And then it goes to Yehi Ratzon Mifanecha. May it be your will, O Lord, that you please take us back and forgive us and bring us back to our land. Mipnei Chatoenu. Betzalel Brum.
This is part of Musaf for the festivals.
Musaf for festivals, yes.
Shkach.
I am tired listening to that. How could I do that? Youth, you know. I'm telling you, this was 1999. And it was published by Terra Publications in New York. And that's why I don't say Adonai, but we say everything's Adomai, Hashem, you know, so because there were a lot of Orthodox guys that were buying this record, this CD from Terra. So in case you're thinking, I'm not such a big frummy that I wouldn't say God's name, but as long as you're doing it as a concert piece, basically. I wouldn't want to try this again, by the way, this piece. I think it's seen its time in my throat. But that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I apologize.
Look what I found, Alberto.
What, baby?
Look what I found.
Oh my God.
That's the lights.
Again. That's what we're playing.
Who is that masked man?
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Those were the years that, you know, I just finished my career 6-8 years from opera, and this is. But you see, I mean, opera can't compare to this. Opera cannot compare to Chazanut in its real form, because you have to be an opera singer to do it to really do it. And there were many of them. There were the 20th century was full of them, and we still have a few wonderful chazanim. But it's another era, so I'm glad I got it on record. Don't ask me to do that piece again.
You're gonna do it second day Shavuot, aren't you, for the repetition?
Yeah, actually I am. I'm gonna do it from my house. I'm just gonna put this on the computer. You got to admit that quiet.
Is that called mailing it in?
Yeah.
Emailing it in.
Emailing it in. Thank you.
Mailing it in is when you go. That's mailing it in. Anyway, where are we? Finished?
Almost. We're going to go from the sublime a little bit to the ridiculous.
Good.
Because we're just going to bring up the mood a little bit instead of thinking about our sins and being exiled from our land.
Enough of
enough of that tragedy. But I do want to, I just want to actually take a step back and think about the breadth of Jewish music we've listened to. Very often people ask that question, what is Jewish music? What does that mean? What does that sound like? But all of this is Jewish music. We've heard ancient modes, we've heard Western classical, romanticism. This piece just now is a mix of chazanut and that sort of Western choir sound. So really, we expand. We've heard folk rock, right? We've heard that the cantata, the oratorio. Jewish music, we take on whatever flavor we're in. So getting us back to Torah and Shavuot, I want to play for you a rap that a chazan, his name is Yaakov Chadash, wrote about the 39 books of the Tanakh, just to lighten the mood a little bit. Here we go. So this is our penultimate piece before we bring back Daniel Goldin. So here's a rap about the 39 books of the Tanakh.
If you like hip-hop, jazz, blues, and rock, got 39 books in the Tanakh. Sometimes we sing, sometimes we just rock. Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Torah comes first. It's got 5 books. Bereshit, Shemot, come take a look. Vayikra and Bamidbar, Dvarim, Ma'od, Shum Davar. If you like hip-hop, jazz, blues, and rock, got 39 books in the Tanakh. Sometimes we sing, sometimes we just talk. Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Nevi'im is the prophets, it's quite a bit longer. Canaanites were strong, but Joshua was stronger. Shotim, then Shmuel, Aleph, and Bet, Melachim in 2 parts. Then we're set to learn the adventures of Yeshayahu. Turn the page to Yirmiyahu. Chariot visions of Yechezkel, Hosea, and then Yoel. Amos, Obadiah, Yonah, Micha, Nahum, Habakkuk, then Zephaniah, Chagai, Zecharai, Malachi. If that's enough for you, and that's enough for me. If you like hip hop, jazz, blues, and rock, got 39 books in the Tanakh. Sometimes we sing, sometimes we just talk. Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Keturim, Tehillim, then Mishle. How to live your life in the best way. Yo, Shir Hashirim, Ruth Eicha, cause you know what I mean. Kohelet, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, I know them well. That's 37 books, we're not done yet. Divei Hayamim, Aleph and Bet. If you like hip-hop, jazz, blues, and rock, got 39 books in the Tanakh. Sometimes we sing, sometimes we just talk. Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Hip! Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Hip! Got 39 books in the Tanakh. Yeah!
Okay, that gives you a little taste of what's going on nowadays with some younger composers. But I just thought we would bring it back to the Tanakh because we are celebrating Shavuot coming up. And lastly, we are going to have a duo here.
Yeah, we're going to Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko.
Yes, Yismach Moshe, part of Shabbat, Shachrit. I'll just read the translation because it gets to the crux of our celebration. Moses rejoiced in his portion. You called him a faithful servant. You adorned his head with a brilliant crown. When he stood before you on Mount Sinai, he carried down 2 tablets of stone inscribed with the instruction to observe Shabbat. So on Shavuot, we celebrate that. However you understand Revelation, that is what we're celebrating, is that moment of Moshe at Sinai. All of us at Sinai, really.
We were all there, folks.
We were all there. Saw you at Sinai, right? Hashtag saw you at Sinai.
I want you to know that now that I've heard that piece you just played, I'm thinking of introducing it into the Ne'ilah service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
39. I'm in there. I can do
It's
this.
the rap of
You could do
sins.
it. You could
You
do
know,
it.
he just might do it. Do not dare him.
I know. But let's bring it back. So Hazan and Daniel, take us out. Take it away.
This is a famous tune that was probably not written by, but claimed by, what's his name, Oliver Shalom?
Joe Amar, I think, right?
Joe Amar.
Yosef Amar, yeah.
Joe Amar was a great Sephardic singer in Eretz Israel. I was proud and very happy to be rushed back from Australia. We're at a concert. The next day, I met Joe Amar in Los Angeles, and we did 3 concerts over Saturday night and Sunday together. It's the only time I ever was with him in those. And then I came home, and I was sick for about 3 weeks. Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, I left at 9 o'clock in the morning from Sydney, and landed at 9 o'clock in the morning, same day, in Los Angeles. Don't do this. Don't try this at home, as we like to say. All right, here we go. This is his Yismach Moshe. Moses was happy. Why is he happy? Because he got the Torah. What? What do you think? This is Shavuot. that you also know the song, I want you to sing. Okay, here we go. Just repeat what I do. Follow him. But he doesn't have Hebrew on that machine, so you guys do. Yismach Moshe. Yismach Moshe. Find the right key still?
Close.
Yismach Moshe, your turn. Yismach Moshe. B'madenot chereko, b'madenot chereko, b'madenot chereko. One last time, you go. U'makaratalo, eman karatalo, 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 eman karatalo, karatalo, karatalo. Isemach Bye. Happy Shavuot.
Happy Shavuot.
So much, Daniel. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chazan.
Daniel.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As we say, Chag Sameach.
Thank you, Liz, for organizing this and really doing everything.
No, I'm not really.
Yeah.
I just wrangle all the forces, but thank you all. And look for more wonderful Shavuot programming tomorrow night. Rabbi Siegel's having a wonderful discussion with Rabbi Ron Wolfson. There's there's food next week, a gnocchi and a cheesecake. The Sisterhood is doing a cheesecake thing on Wednesday night, and Dror and Stephanie Goldfarb are doing a gnocchi thing on Tuesday. It's hard to keep it all straight. We're just doing so much. And just stay tuned to the website. For the first night of Shavuot, we have wonderful teaching happening. And then after Shavuot, we're remaking on Zoom our community tikkun, starting at 9:30 with Community Havdalah and like a webinar with all 6 of our community rabbis who usually teach for us and everything. So sign up for that because because it's open to so many hundreds of people, we are requiring registration to get the links. So when you see that on our website, please follow through the registration so you get the links for that. Thank you all.
All right.
Sameach.
Everybody.
Chag Sameach, everyone.
Sameach. All the best. We'll see you hopefully.
Sameach.
Shul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.